back in high school, I don't even really remember what I said, but one of our kids, he's going to play for Indiana next year for basketball. I remember he was like a freshman. He banked a half court shot in to give his team the lead at halftime, and I just remember just getting really excited for that one. That one was good. I think there was a game tying call for Rollins. A guy, John Latimer, hit a mid range shot to send the game to overtime. That was good. The JUCO shootout, I had some good ones. I liked a couple of them where I said butter or stuff like that. Or there was one that's on my Instagram now. I was like, nice spin move, left-handed, and the foul, like stuff like that. So
Tara, nice spin move, left-handed, and the foul.
Just putting good calls together are some of the more memorable ones, and I can't wait to get my full play-by-play reel once I'm done with all this.
Yeah, I gotta make my reel one day too. But what is one of the most? I'm gonna try to word this kind of the right way. I hope you understand how I'm trying to word this.
Right.
What is one of the most memorable lessons that you learned here at Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting? It don't have to just be play-by-play calling. It could be just like for me. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. When I was in Robert class, when we could change MOV to MP4 by just renaming the file, like that was just like wow. Like what has been something for you in this program that you learned that was just like glad I learned that one?
I think it goes to Christine's class. I just had her.
Yeah.
And she would always tell me, even before I had her, Christine Wynn, even before I had her, she ran the JUCO shootout, and she told me that I was very choppy. And so I get that a lot, or I got that a lot in her class. I never really understood what that meant. And Kevin Nagandi actually said it about me too. So
shout out to Kevin. I want to meet you.
So he gave me that feedback as well. So I was like, kind of beating myself up over it. Like, how do I fix this? Like, if this is the thing I need to work on, I need to perfect it right now. And basically, Christine just helped me with the pacing of stuff and not pausing as much and just continuing to let my words flow. And with that, I remember it was our last class, and everything just clicked. And she was like, "That's the best I've heard all month." And like that stuff doesn't I don't take that lightly. Like compliments like that is really important for the self-esteem, because I'm hard on myself. I'll be the first one to admit it. Like if I mess up a call, I'm thinking about it for the rest of the night. If I am messing up a performance, or if I stumble on something, then I'm beating myself up over it. So for her to just give me some praise there in that aspect and be like, "Hey, you did a good job working on it and fixing it." And since then, I've been practicing at it, and I think I've done a better job at not being choppy.
You have did a great job of stop being choppy. The first thing that came to my mind was Braves, chop on. I don't know why that.
Hey, did you see the Reds fans yesterday? They were doing it. They were mocking you.
Yeah.
Let's check the score after.
I'm gonna just try to erase. So let's check the score. Hold on. Let's check the score right quick. Hold on. Like, literally in game. We got right now. It is. I gotta refresh the screen. Come on, refresh.
Come on, Reds. Come back, kids. Come on. Talk to me, Cincy.
Service chopping me up, but if it comes back, okay, 6-4, bottom of the fourth.
6-4?
6-4, bottom of the fourth. Y'all scored 2 runs in the second, 2 runs in the fourth. And we got 1 in the second, 2 in the third, 3 in the fourth.
Oh wow! I can't believe we came back again. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. I'm already getting a little nervous, but
they got to keep the streak alive, man.
But I know you love play-by-play,
right?
And it's many other things we do in this program. We make packages, commentary, and a bunch of other stuff that I'm trying to act like I know the name, but I forgot it off the top. What is something else that you like other than play-by-play calling? Because honestly, you may not get the play-by-play calling off of it.
Right.
So what are some other things you may want to veer into?
So what I really started to like is, and we don't really get as much opportunities to do them as much as you do later on in the program, which is just calling highlights. And because that's how you get your personality out there, you know what I mean? I hope, down the road for future Full Sail kids that go into the Dan Patrick School, they can do more of it, because, the rest of it is just, we got to practice on our own until we get to those big classes. But I think doing the one in Mike Stinton's class, that was my second time ever doing a highlight, and I freaked it. I think I had a line in there like, "Oh, somebody get the Bills a zookeeper. The cheetah's on the loose." That was one of my favorite bars I had.
He's got an opening, and somebody get the Bills a zookeeper. There's a cheetah on the loose.
And it was Tyreek Hill, obviously. So just to play on words, and I like showing that artistic ability because that's art to me, like being able to write and then also being able to perform what you write. So that stuff I really like. I do like performing in the studio, even though like the past couple classes have just been vocal stuff. I like performing in the studio. So I'd say calling highlights in the studio or just doing a highlight.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with a couple this or that. Like, you know, let's say like eggs or bacon or something like that. Let's go ahead and do it this or that. Okay.
Do it.
Editing or live shots?
Go live shots.
Highlights or commentary?
Highlights for sure, yes. Commentary, yeah. I know that's very vocal, like focuses on your vocal ability, but there's nothing like doing a highlight for me. I love it.
Ready or Stanton?
Oh my, that might be the toughest question out of all these. Man, I'm gonna have to go with Stanton because he's a Atlantic 10 basketball fan. He likes the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. I'm a Dayton Flyers fan. You know, we've had our battles in the past couple of years, and actually, when St. Bonaventure beat Dayton last year, he shot me a message. So he was talking his talk, but you know, we'll get him again this year. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Stanton for now. But I love them both.
Okay. My last one. Dayton, University of Dayton or Cincinnati Reds?
University of Dayton by far.
far.
That's my actual city where I haul from. Cincinnati is my neighbor city, so that's why we root on the Reds. But for sure, definitely University of Dayton.
See how I'm thinking about this? This gets me right into the next thing I wanted to talk about. Because I know you are a Dayton basketball fan.
Big time.
So let's go ahead and dive into that a little bit. When Obi was there in Dayton, what was the atmosphere in Dayton when Obi was there?
Obadiah Toppin, man. where do I start? I mean, guy literally might be the best player in the University of Dayton history. Like, that's not any over exaggeration. Yes, we've had our great players in the past, you know, Don May, Roosevelt Chapman, and you know, some other guys. But he literally took that city and put the city in his pocket. Like, it was that crazy what he did for us. I remember, so Obi came in and had to redshirt his first year, so he didn't play because of some academic thing or whatever, and nobody really knew what to expect. The team was bad the year before because this was our head coach's first year, Anthony Grant, and so Obi's sitting the bench, and we have a bad season. Okay, whatever, we're getting our good players now from the new coach. I remember it was the first game, it was versus North Florida. I was sitting right behind the bench. I have a picture of me sitting right behind the bench during his first game.
We'll B-roll that.
Yes, during his first game. And he made this transition between his redshirt freshman year to his actual freshman year or sophomore year or whatever it is. And I remember him going out there. He put up like 16 and 9 his first game, something like that. Or like 16 points, something. And I'm like, yo, this dude is good. Like, I remember he caught a pass baseline and just went up and punched it hard. And I was like, yo, that kid might have something. And so that season went on. They didn't make the tournament or anything. They kind of didn't have much depth. But then comes the 2020 season.
COVID year.
Yes, 1920. And he was on draft boards, like he was like projected to go late second round, and that's when they went to Maui. They're undefeated. They go to Maui. They play Georgia and Anthony Edwards, the Bulldogs.
Remember that.
And Obi scores like the first 12 of the Flyers' 14 points. Like he came out on fire. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, yo, no way people thought Georgia was going to win this game. We beat them. We ended up beating them by 19 points, or Dayton ended up beating Georgia by 19 points. They go to the next game. Obi had a crazy style line. They go to the next game, beat Virginia Tech, beat the brakes off. And then they go to Kansas. They go play Kansas, and Obi is just lights out again. That's 3 games in a row. And that's when everybody started to give UD and Obi some attention that season. So after that, they did lose that game to Kansas, but Obi had 20-some points, hit a couple of big threes, and just showed that he belonged and showed that he was a top pick in at least the first round.
Just really quick. When did you realize that Obi was the best player in Dayton? When did that moment hit for you?
That moment hit for me when he and the Dayton Flyers got their ranking, their final ranking in 2020, which was at number 3 in the country. That team won. I think they won like 18 games in a row, and maybe it was like 20, 22, something like that. They didn't lose a game in the conference, and sorry, I had to.
I'm looking at the stats anyway.
But yeah. So those guys went 22-2, right? And that's when I really knew that, like, hey, this guy really. He didn't. I wouldn't necessarily say carry because he had a great team around him. Like, they had great players. A.B. Watson, Jalen Crutcher, great guards, Rodney Chapman, and others. But yeah, that team was tough.
Yeah, I know a lot of people honestly would have thought that Dayton could have won the whole thing in 2020. Yeah. But let's wrap a bow on this conversation. I know Obi is in New York right now. I know Carlos has been a little iffy about this situation. Where do you see, how can Obi really get to where you think he can be? If you understand I think you understand how I'm saying it. How can Obi get
So I think with Obi, I think he just needs a bigger role. I think Obi is a great talent. I just don't
outside of New York?
Yes, outside of New York. I think he needs to leave. No matter what it is, I think he needs to request out, get a trade, figure something out there.
How do you feel about that that verbal with Tibbs? That audio.
If it's real,
your reaction.
If it's real, I think Obi has a point there. It's like, all right, this guy has been just basically rotting away on New York's bench for 3 years. For 3 years, he's been in the NBA, and he hasn't been able to show what he was able to do in college. So I think definitely he needs to figure out a better situation for himself. I know they just signed his little brother to a 2-way contract, so that's interesting. So we'll see if there's really any bad blood there. But hopefully he can get out of New York. All Dayton fans want him out, so it's not just me. I think a lot of the Dayton Flyer fans want to see him flourish somewhere because, hey, he was a top 10 pick, bro. He wasn't late second round like Prince. No, this guy was a top 10 pick. They picked him with their top 10 selection, and they've just been letting his talent go to waste, in my opinion. Because when Julius Randle's out and he plays and actually starts, he's a great player. Like, I think the number is somewhere in the 20s, 20-some points and like 5 rebounds or something, what he averages when Randle is out. So I think he could definitely find a role somewhere else.
Okay. I want you to put your big brother hat on right quick. Mm-hmm. So, it's a lot of students who come into Full Sail, and August is the biggest, when the most kids come in because they're just leaving high school. What would you tell that youth kid who came in for Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting to expect out of the program?
I would say prepare to work. I think there are some classes and some weeks that really get tough, but I also think that there's some weeks that get easy. But that just comes with it. I think just lock in, and they're coming there for a reason, so why not show it? And I think that's something that you've been able to do. I think it's something a lot of our classmates have been able to do. So just prepare to work, but also have fun. Like, I've been enjoying this so much, and the relationships we built. So
that's, man. Like, remember I called you and told you yesterday, like, I'm gonna look at the camera right quick. The first episode I had somebody set up for the interview, and he backed out. And I called Chris King on the spot, and he said, bruh, don't worry, I got you. And if it wasn't for that day on June 3rd, I don't know honestly if I ever would have started the episode. So I told you yesterday, and I got to say on camera, bro. Like,
My God.
bro, I thank you so much for helping me start the genesis of this journey of Snoop Dogg's podcast. But a 5, but for you, what I want to know is, you're graduating around December. So the 5 and 10 year, just kind of quickly though, I'm sorry, but like a 5 and 10 year plan, Chris King, when you graduate in December, I want a 5-year and 10-year
plan. 5-year plan is to be on air somewhere doing college basketball. There's so many streaming sites now, and a ton of these schools have ESPN Plus. So, look, I love college basketball. You know that about me, and a lot of people know that about me. I'm probably the only guy in this program who prefers college basketball over the NBA, but I do. I don't know why, but I love college basketball, and that's my dream to do play-by-play for college basketball.
Sure.
So that's 5-year plan. 10-year plan is CBS Sports, TBS, TNT, doing the NCAA tournament. I'll be there doing the Final Four. Jim Nance, he just retired. I'm going to be the new one. So
there you go. You saved me, bro. Hey, I want to give a shout out to CBS 44, Reese, Joshua Roden. Thank y'all so much. Like, y'all always pick up the phone when I call if I got questions. I remember when I was in conjuring class about the packages, that you helped me learn how to make a profile package on someone. I really want to say thank you so much to Reese and Joshua for believing in me for me to still in college now, and you're going to let me start the job in December. Thank you so much. But to Chris King, who always saying some great things. Any shout-outs, brother?
You know what? I'm going to shout out Tumani Kamara. He just got picked by the Phoenix Suns, former Dayton Flyer. Gave us some great minutes these past couple of years. And, that dude's so humble. I couldn't be more proud of that kid just living out his dreams and getting picked to Phoenix, who has a shot at winning the title this year with, they just added
Easy
Beal.
money, sniper.
They just added Beal. They got KD. And, obviously still have Book. But, you add Tumani Kamara to that fold. He's a great defender. And, I think they can go somewhere with him, and the Suns have a little bit of a fan in me now. Right. I gotta get a Suns Kamara jersey.
Plug in your socials where we can find you at. Plug in the socials.
So Tic Toc, Wasian CK. That's also a big thing. Shout out to my yai. That's Grandma in Thai, who is from Thailand. My mom's from Thailand as well, so that's where I get the Wasian thing from. So Wasian CK on TikTok. Christopher King with a 1 as the I in King. That's my Instagram. And then YouTube is Chris King PXP. Got some of my highlights on there from some play-by-play stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you can go Twitter. I have Twitter. It is Chris__King5. So that's what that is.
This was the man with the plan. I want to thank you so much. It was Chris King. I'm telling you, the man of Dayton. He loved them Reds, and he loved them MF Daytons, bro. Like, he really rocked with the Dayton Flyers, man. I want to thank him so much. I want to thank everybody for helping me out on this journey. My dog Aaron, who's over here, who I'm out there, always in the background. The people the cameraman, they never get the shine that they do. So to every cameraman, to everybody who's in the background, who you don't really see on the cameras, who doing that things, I want to give you a shout out. And my name is Wright Lamar Washington Jr. I'm with Chris King, and we just did some great things, man. And ain't nothing to drink in here, but I'm gonna act like I took a sip. And hey, we out, man.
Have a good one, guy.
Welcome to Snooty Podcast.